So I hope you can see my screen. From the very basics of the writing, you can see that this is the third subtest in the written component, which we have listening, we have reading, we have writing. And this is the third component that we are going to discuss in today's class. So first of all, you can see there that we have 45 minutes time in total. And out of that 45 minutes time, the first 5 minutes, you are not allowed to write anything anywhere. It's just your reading time. You can read the case notes, right? After that, you have 40 minutes time to complete the task. Now you can see the case notes in front of you when you're writing the letter, right? So in that 40 minutes time, you have to compose a writing task. This will be one profession specific. This will be one profession specific task. Let's say if you're a doctor, you will get the medicine role and so on. If you are a nurse, you get nursing, and physiotherapist, you will get physiotherapist role. Anyhow, the first of all, there are different types of letter that we have to write it down. Maybe the most common in medicine is referral. Referral notes. Then we have discharge letter and transfer letter. These are one of the most common types of letter one can have in the OET writing. We also have the request letter. We have information letter and education letter. These are six different types of letter you can expect in OET writing. So, in general, what is the concept of referral in medicine? What we can say a referral letter when we have something in mind. So, all the type of letter we discuss right now can be the category of referral letter. Even discharge can be category of referral because in the writing task, you would see that write a referral letter to Dr. Blah blah for a patient who will be discharged after tomorrow and so on. Anyhow, but generally speaking, what is general concept in simple type of referral letter is that GP will be writing this letter to a specialist, or in simple words, there is point in time in future when the GP might not be able to manage this condition. Now he's referring this letter to the specialist to handle the case, right? So it's, you can say GP to specialist referral. In discharge is the flip side of that. In discharge letter, this is the flip side of that. Now specialist is writing back to GP. So in medicine, most of the time, GP is the primary care physician to whom you're writing this letter back. In discharge letter only, he is the primary care physician. So basically, specialist is writing back this letter to the primary care physician. It's a kind of discharge letter. Same in medicine, OVD medicine, we have basically the patient is being treated for some condition. Let's call it X. And now the patient is recovering. So we are writing this letter for follow up. So this is the concept of discharge letter. Now request letter. I missed the transfer letter actually. Request letter is basically your when we are requesting to some healthcare professional, mostly a light professional, or even to the GP as well, being a specialist. Let's say if you are a specialist, let's say a surgeon, and you have performed a knee replacement surgery, and now you are writing this letter to the physiotherapist to arrange physio session. at patient home. Now you are a surgeon, you are writing this letter to a social worker as the patient was depressed and social services should be arranged. Now you are a surgeon, you are writing this letter of request to the maybe for a geriatric review as the patient is elderly and he needs some assistance. So this is the concept of your request letter when we are writing this letter to the allied professional. It's not the case that even a surgeon will be writing. There is a possibility that GP can be writing even the request letter. Now transfer letter in concept mean when we are changing the department, let's say from emergency to ward, it's a transfer. Also category of referral, maybe from you can say low setting to high setting, such as periphery to the mainstream. Now we have some other things such as the transport involves. It's ambulance transfer. So these are few types of transfer example. It could be let's say permanent transfer, or we can say handover. It's GP to GP most of the time, or can be from specialist to specialist. You are old GP and you're writing to new GP, right? Anyhow, so afterward we can see that letter of information is less likely that you can get in the medicine, but being a community doctor, let's say you are writing this letter to the health ministry about the recent symptom that you have encountered, what some disease may be, to upgrade the hospital, to upgrade the health facility in the community. We can have the education letter, less likely in medicine still. You are a community doctor and you are writing this letter to the patients. So this is also you can say letter of education. So I hope till this purpose. Second criteria is the content. I will explain inshallah one by one. Then we have organization and layout. Then we have conciseness and clarity. We have conciseness and clarity, genre and style, and language. So before we can move on, I'd like to tell you there is no standard structure of writing a letter. Like standard structure means there is no sped rule that where we have to write down social history, where we have to write down the medical history, as per the importance of the case notes. There are some conventional formats that you can follow, but that format might not be applicable to each and every letter because it's quite easy for you being a student and for me being a teacher that we can establish you can say a model or sample layout, but it would affect your writing in long run when we encounter different types of letter because you would see that social history might be quite significant in some letters and totally irrelevant in some letters. So, according to the importance of the information, we will organize. Anyhow, so I just had discussed some points with you. Now, these 6 points, on the basis of these 6 points, your writing will be marked. So, what they would say that there is weightage for each thing, 0 to 3 for purpose. But this is most important thing, purpose, according to them. Though this is their grading marks. Like your purpose will be marked from 0 to 3 scale, and in order to qualify, you must take two at your scale of purpose. Content is from 0 to 7. Passing is 5. Same goes with organization. Same goes with clarity, genre and style and language. Their passing is 5. Anyhow, so what we have the purpose of writing, what we can say as a purpose of writing. Okay, before we can start even the purpose of writing, you can see that the total marks is 500. That is in writing subtest. Passing marks, if you're going for UK, Ireland, Australia, is 350. Only in US is 300 in writing. That is passing mark for the doctors. The nurses, we have different criteria. So you must have to score 350 out of 500 in order to get yourself registered with GMC in each subtest, right? However, in USA, 350 in rest of them and 300 in your writing component for doctors. Anyhow, so let's get back to the point where we have started this thing. So first of all, my gosh, first of all is the purpose of writing. So when you can see the case notes, when you see the case notes on the bottom left part, there is instruction of writing task like that. I will show you the case notes as well. So, and in this part, you have to ask yourself three simple questions. To whom are we writing this letter? Who is the recipient? Right? To whom are we writing this letter? So, whoever is the recipient is, let's say, if you are writing this letter to the, so think from this person eyesight now, right? And what is the issue? So we can find the issue in this part of the letter, the last part. Not necessary to be the last digit, but the last part where you can find the gravity of information. So, irrespective of type of letter, either it's a referral, discharge, this part of the writing task is very crucial, critical to review. So, because this is your, we can say in simple word, this is your focus of writing. This will give you the focus of writing. That why are you writing this letter? So, purpose can be defined in simple word that why are we writing this letter? Now, this has to be clear in the introduction. You must clearly define your purpose of writing the introduction. Commonly, it's a myth or commonly held belief is that purpose is intro. It's not the case. Purpose is not the intro as per the criteria, but your purpose has to be clear in the introduction as we discussed. Then you can see that the organization of the case notes, it has to be laid out as per the reason of writing. So what we can say that it should be in this approach, like you should have, like if you're writing this letter, you should have a clear focus, whatever you have mentioned in the introduction, and same has to be displayed in the body of the letter. So we can follow this approach in the writing task. Maybe this part we can say is your intro, then body one, body two, and so on. As per the focus when you are selecting, this only the thing when we are selecting the case notes, right? But when we see what we can follow, when we make the sample answer or the writing answer, it should be having a clear intro in the introduction, right? And then this approach, flip side. Now, this is less relevant detail. You have summarized. Less relevant details has summarized, and this is more relevant detail. Now you have expanded. So, introduction to the letter, you have to write it down. Clear reason of writing. Now, whatever the information you can find in the first letter, most of the time, if it's less relevant, if it's conditional, if it's less relevant only, then summarize and expand today visit. Mostly today or important history. Mostly we have the most relevant information in the which we can see in the last visit. So now we can apply the concept of this diagram to the referral letter. So let's say if there is a case who presented to you with minor symptom of maybe like fatigue only, then in coming week he presented you again with fatigue and frequent urination. Again the third visit, same symptom along with what you can say weight loss despite sedentary lifestyle. Again the same symptom, weight loss is there and blurry vein. So you can see that the condition is progressing in this order. So when we can write it down, maybe I can write it down this, or these two visits in one paragraph. That was less relevant. Along with that, he's having sedentary lifestyle. But maybe these two paragraphs, including the investigation, if I am having, in the expansion part. The challenge you will face in the writing task that most of the time the less relevant history will be given in a very small proportion as compared to the given amount of the case notes. Let's say what I mean to say that you can see that there are multiple visits and there are a lot of details written in the first few visits that are not relevant to the case. But in the last visit, that is the most relevant history, and it will be given. You can say in a very there are very few details should be given in the letter. Either it's a referral or discharge. Same concept can be applied if we can just understand the purpose of writing. What I'm trying to tell you. If it's a discharge letter, we have a clear reason of writing in the introduction. Now, this less relevant detail maybe it's your ward stay, or this detail may be the more relevant than the ward stay. Maybe it's your rehab stay. Now, this information is your this one discharge plan maybe. So as you can see, if you can apply this concept of writing diagram on this discharge letter, ward stay would be summarized. Rehab should also be summarized, but discharge plan should be have to be standard. So now understanding the purpose of writing, in terms of purpose of writing, I have always to see to whom I am writing this letter and for what I am writing and what do you want. That we said is the issue. Is it clear? Moving on toward the next point that is called as content. Now content means selection of relevant case notes. So what we mean by relevant selection? We can see that there are relevant history, right? We have semi-relevant and we have irrelevant. Okay. So basically, if you can see there, if we have relevant, semi-relevant, and irrelevant history, so it should be kept in mind that no matter what, you have to write down relevant history. Similarly, do not write down irrelevant history. Semi-relevant is optional if you want to write or if you want to miss. But a pro tip on first day, never write semi-relevant before relevant. This is a pro tip that you must understand. Okay. So again, relevant that we are writing a relevant history with reference to purpose or with reference to the recipient to whom we are writing this letter and the issue. If the information is relevant for the issue, you should not miss that thing. Simple. Right? Okay. Semi-relevant might be relevant for the recipient, but not relevant for the issue, or maybe in the second or third degree. And irrelevant but not be relevant to the person and to the problem. The next thing is your organization and layout. Now, in organization and layout, in simple word, it's where to write which thing. Okay, or I would say it's the prioritization of the case now, or it's the sequencing of the information. Like, how would you sequence? Key point to remember that sequence in the case notes might not be the right sequence always. The sequence in the case notes might not be the right sequence always. You have to organize as per the importance of the information. So, if we have, then we can see that we have conciseness and clarity. When we talk about the conciseness, it's your summary skill. Uh, what do you mean by like how would or which information you need to summarize? As you can see that we were discussing the diagram, less relevant. It is relevant but less relevant. So you will summarize them down. Now you need a language. Remember one key information on the first day. For summary, we prefer to write it down in the perfect tense, either in past, present, depend on the event. What do you mean by summary? That something started, maybe run for a period of time, either ended or finished or it's continue. Right? Whatever the circumstances is, you have to write it down perfect tense. Right? Anyhow, now clarity is the flow of idea. Clarity is the flow, right? And we need connectors, but flow is more important. The connectivity of the idea. We have then genre and style. In terms of genre and style, we can see that is the transformation, in simple word, transformation of the case notes according to the formality. According to the formality. So in here, in what we mean by the formality, as you can see that we are writing between the healthcare professional, the language should be technical that we'll be using. Do not use the layman word in writing, but it should be technical words when we are speaking. Or in simple word, always see to whom I'm writing. Accordingly, select the words. Change the form of the word. If you can, if you don't have the synonym, so at least change the form of the word. Lethargy, say lethargic, right? Complaint to complaints, and so on. If you can change the form of the word. And second thing is the tone. We should have a polite tone, but if you're writing from GP to specialist, it not be recommending tone but a suggestive. Specialist to GP, though polite but recommending tone. So, in simple words, the genre style is the selection of the right medium to communicate as per the formality. As this is the formal writing, so we are not supposed to use some of the things such as contraction. Do not use them. We cannot use those words, right? It's not being preferred to be used. Anyhow, the last part is the language. In the language part, we have tenses, we have sentences, we have articles or parts of speech. So as you can see that the letter writing is the composition of different events happened at different times. So we need the appropriate range of grammatical structure. Which event had happened in past tense, which event had happened in present tense, which had happened in maybe perfect form, or which had happened in the continuous form, and so on. Similarly, we need simple, compound, complex sentences, right? Anyhow, so these are some of the examples that we discussed. Okay, let me say it to you again. So basically, as we discussed that in the writing task, you can see this is the writing task. So whenever we see the writing task, we can go to the last part. So for your overview, you can see there are four widgets: first, second, third, and fourth. We're gonna see this letter in detail now. So we can start the writing case from the bottommost part of the writing task. First of all, the first question to answer is to whom I am writing this letter. So at least I have an idea that I am writing this letter to the University Star. Why we are writing this letter? We have this assessment done, which show that we have AMI or APO along with asthma worsening. It's we are transferring this patient to the emergency department, kind of transfer letter, and this management has been done. Now, keeping in mind the main concern, we will start reading the case not from top to bottom. Now, age is important. Complaint of occasional mild central chest pain important. Mild asthma important. Family history important. Smoker important. 5 by 7 mean 5 days a week. Stress important. Medication fine. Early stages of chest pain or ischemic heart disease. That was the duty at that time, and patient was alcohol dependent. This was the plan that has been given. Again, on the second visit, he came again with the mild chest pain. Right? Asthma was increasing. Ischemic changes present. Asthma increasing. You have made an assessment and manage the case. Now we have next one, third visit. Again, chest pain. Asthma worsening. And you have consulted the patient for the management of the alcohol cessation. However, today he came here with sudden onset of crushing chest pain, worsening asthma. EC showed mild elevation and moderate wheeze and bilateral crackles. Oxygen saturation was there. Heart sound was positive. It was likely due to AMI and triggered by respiratory issues. And we have mild exacerbation of asthma. We already discussed this thing. So generally, we have quickly review the case notes. Now, coming to the format of writing, on the top left corner, we may write it down, the date. Then, the name after leaving one line. Then, emergency registrar. hospital. This is the general layout. The date on the top left corner. The you can say the doctor name, his designation, and so on can be written over here. Afterward, leave one line and we can write down RE stand for regarding patient name, Mr. John Elvin, his age, whatever is given. Leave one line and dear doctor, second name. This is a standard format that you have to follow. Okay, then we can see, we can write it down, maybe this thing over here and this over here, and similarly date can be written over here. We can write it down, thank you, in this letter only. Thank you for accepting Mr. Alvin, whose features are suggestive of infarction, edema, acute pulmonary edema, along with worsening of asthma for further management, right? So we can write down this in the introduction. In the next body paragraph, we will prefer to start from today in this letter only. About this emergency referral, while he was close to the clinic, he presented with, and so on. After writing today's visit, we can write down the previous history in summary form, and then we can write down social history, and then we have to conclude without mentioning the heading. Okay, so this is the format of writing that we can see at the end. We can write down the conclusion. In view of the above, I am transferring this patient by ambulance, and during transfer he has been given this thing. Then you can write down, should there be any further queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. And then you can write down yours sincerely and your name only.